Emergency Gun Meme Review. What is up, you sexy YouTube mother lovers, and welcome back to your favorite firearm news show disguised as a meme review. I'm your host, Bruen Herrera, and what was this emergency that just happened? Well, a few hours ago, the Supreme Court of the United States of America just ruled on what could possibly be the biggest gun rights case of our generation. It was the New York State Pistol and Rifle Association v. Bruen, a case that you may not even have known about. It was a case challenging a law that's actually been on the books in New York for quite some time. The law basically said that citizens do not have a right to carry a firearm unless they can prove that they have a proper cause to do so. And according to this law, self-defense was not a proper cause. You had to demonstrate a special need for self-protection more so than the general community, which, if you speak corruption, means you had to be a politician, celebrity, or a rich guy. But to paraphrase the court in this new ruling, shall not be infringed means shall not be infringed, motherfucker. Yes, it was Justice Thomas who penned possibly the spiciest Supreme Court opinion since DC v. Heller. The absolute mad lad did it. And on his birthday, no less. When it's your birthday, but you gave 335 million other people a gift.
I'm just a civil servant.
I know Lance Eater retired.
That's right, because they took this all the way to the Supreme Court, this is not just a New York thing. This is a ruling from the Supreme Court, which means it affects gun rights federally. This is expected to spur a ton of other lawsuits, which might force California, New Jersey, Maryland, Massachusetts, and Hawaii to all change their laws. All of those states I just mentioned together, by the way, account for about a quarter of all Americans. So if you're a gun rights component, this is a huge win. And the anti-gunners are pissed. But somehow not quite as pissed as some other ruling we're expecting soon. Release opinion on concealed carry before Roe v. Wade riots. Ooh, I did not even think about that. Kyle, where'd you go, buddy? We might need you back soon. To provide much needed medical attention at these riots. What did you think I meant? Now, I know there's some mixed opinions when it comes to the leaked Roe v. Wade verdict. But aside from that, let's just all agree as a gun community to celebrate our rare wins when we can get them, because they are rare. So to my understanding of the law in the Supreme Court, DC v. Heller was the ruling back in the day that basically guaranteed the individual citizen the right under the Second Amendment to keep and to bear arms. Basically, the individual citizen has the right to keep and own guns. This ruling specifically expands that outside of the home, meaning you have a constitutional right to carry a gun. It's almost like the Constitution specifically outlined the individual right to keep and to bear arms. To keep and to bear. Almost like those are synonyms to own and to carry. This, of course, all coming in the wake of Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau saying that you have no individual right to use a firearm for self-defense.
You can't use a gun for self-protection in Canada. That's not a right that you have in the Constitution or anywhere else. If you try and buy a gun and say it's for self-protection, no, you don't get that.
The gentlemanly Clarence Thomas versus Justin Trudeau. Let's get an F in the chat for our Canadian friends. POV, you've done 10 times more for gun rights in 15 years than the NRA has done in 150. Yeah, Clarence Thomas and Antonin Scalia. Name a more iconic duo. I really think that like the edgy teenagers who say like, oh, they're both two sides of the same coin, like really sleep on the Supreme Court. If it weren't for folks like Thomas and Scalia, they could have interpreted the Second Amendment to only apply to muskets years ago. And if you're excited to see what happens next for gun rights, go ahead and subscribe. Aside from our range content and other videos, we use these emergency gun meme reviews as a way to keep you up to date without having to turn on Fox News or CNN. But if you want to see more updates like this in the future, be sure to subscribe. We'll write it out together. Me, after carrying a blank for like years before the Supreme Court made their decision. I'm the real hero. I mean, that's really bad legal advice, but free men don't ask permission. Also, the new season of The Boys is fucking dope. But I'm seriously happy for all you New Yorkers out there. Hopefully your state government doesn't fuck this up. It's a great day for us New Yorkers. It sure is. So you can stop moving here, right? Right? Gotta love the amount of New Yorkers that talk shit about Florida until it's time to pay their taxes. Speaking of Florida, I know a lot of you guys really don't like it when I get political like this. To a certain degree, I kinda have to. Guns are inherently political. But I also know a lot of you guys really like it. But if you want a chance to come see me in person and talk about more political stuff like this, then come on down to Revolution 2022. It is the biggest Liberty event of the year, taking place in Florida by the YAL, or the Young Americans for Liberty. I had a fantastic time speaking there and meeting you guys last year. Plus, this year they have great speakers like Ron Paul, Rand Paul, Tulsi Gabbard, Dave Smith, and for whatever reason, yours truly. But I think it's going to be a great time, so if you want to come hang out, the dates are August 4th through 6th down in Orlando, Florida. The links are down in the description and in the pinned comment. I guess I'll see you there. Justice Thomas once again suffers severe burns while writing absolutely fire opinion. This is true especially if you take into account the very specific language that he used in writing this opinion. It's like the girls with a time machine meme. I'm your granddaughter, OMG what? Boys with a time machine. Write the Second Amendment as if you were talking to a 6-year-old. I know it seems redundant, it'll come in handy later. Oh look, how cute! They have taken away our rights to have reasonable restrictions, New York Governor Kathy Hochul said Thursday after the decision came down. I'm sorry this dark day has come. Oh no, it's Yeah, the left is not happy with this one. In fact, this Supreme Court decision is causing a lot of people on the left to show their true colors. This includes, of course, the aforementioned governor of New York, who said this today.
And I would like to point out to the Supreme Court justices that the only weapons at the time were muskets. I'm prepared to go back to muskets.
Well, I would like to point out to the governor of New York that when the Second Amendment was written, there was no restriction on any kind of firearm, and it was perfectly acceptable for civilians to own things like cannons and warships. And I would love to buy more cannons. But when she says she wants to go back to muskets, that's a perfect representation of what guys like me have been talking about for a long time. It shows that when anti-gunners say that people on their side only want reasonable things like background checks, like, licensing, like magazine restrictions, reasonable things, they are fucking lying. They only just want whatever they're pushing until they pass that. It clearly doesn't work because we told them it wouldn't work. And then they want something else. They want to push farther. It doesn't stop, and any compromise that's made doesn't help us at all. It just gets them 2 steps closer to what they actually want. Oh, fuck. This is why women live longer than men. But all that aside, let's not detract from the fact that today was a major legal victory for anybody who truly believes in the Second Amendment. This is a huge surge of legal reinforcements, so to speak, that are going to help gun cases for decades to come. But with that in mind, let's remember that the fight isn't over. While I was recording this video, the US Senate just passed what the NAGR is calling the worst gun control bill in 30 years. And it passed with the help of 15 Republican turncoats, who I will list here. 2 of them, I'm embarrassed to say, come from my home state of North Carolina. Breaking. Senate announces bipartisan framework for gun control package. I expect nothing, and I'm still let down. When you get publicly called out by the president who allowed the turncoat NRA to talk him into a bump stock ban, you know you probably fucked up. For those of you who don't know, the new Senate bill is full of a bunch of small compromises, including red flag laws. Red flag laws, of course, being a direct violation of the much less talked about 4th Amendment of the Constitution, basically outlining the right of the people to be secure in their possessions against unreasonable search and seizures. In layman's terms, you and the shit that you own are safe from being searched or taken by the government without a warrant signed by a judge for a reasonable purpose. Depending on the way they're written, a lot of red flag laws allow for other people to just call the police on you anonymously and say that you're a threat, and then the cops come and take your guns. Because the left loves the idea of defunding the police unless it's to do the shit that they want them to do. The justice and criminal court systems are absolutely broken. How will red flag courts be any different? The truth of the matter is they won't be, and if anything, they'll just be worse. So I guess the purpose of this emergency gun meme review would be to, as the evangelicals say, tell you about the good news. We had a win this week. That doesn't happen very often. So while it's important to celebrate our W's and praise the people responsible for these victories, it's also important to stay vigilant. In the words of the warrior poet Ice Cube, today was a good day. But speaking to typically, Gen Z, we have to apply political pressure to boomers who don't understand that the Second Amendment applies to things beyond a double-barrel shotgun. That way you too can grow old in a truly free nation. Because after all, would you date a girl without arms? The answer is fuck no. The Second Amendment is a constitutional right, you fucking commie. Okay, that last bit might have been exaggerated, but you get the point. So I guess the question is, what do you think the implications of this ruling are going to be? Do you think this is going to lead to a wave of new lawsuits that change gun laws across the country? Or is it just going to be more of the same and the real fight is yet to come? Let me know down in the comments, but either way, I appreciate you watching to the end, and as always, I will see you sexy YouTube mother lovers in the next video. Thanks.
Fuel is my obsession to make the perfect weapon, like Rasputin's rise to the top.